Will the two stimulus packages pass this week? We have some new information out of Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, the president, Bernie Sanders, and Pramila Jayapal. We have a lot going on right now, so let's get into it and discuss all of the latest details. Hey everyone, welcome. Thanks so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video, as it's totally free to do so, and this channel is your one and only channel you need to be watching right now, as I'm back for you every single day to bring you all of the latest updates, hot off the wire as they are being released, and I'm very much dedicated to bringing you honest, accurate, reliable, and transparent information every single day through these videos. So thank you so much for your support. I am very much dedicated and committed to helping all of you out in this community in any way that I possibly can. Subscribe down below. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Let's get into it and talk about all of this latest details that are going on right now. All right, so let's run through this in chronological order so we have a better understanding of what is actually going on and all of these different comments and everything going on right now. Because as we know, last week, if you were watching the videos, last week was unbelievably busy. In fact, just the last few days of last week were like unbelievably busy. Seriously, there was so much going on right there. We were getting a ton of different comments, voting that was going on. It was like a madhouse, right? Well, over the weekend and again earlier today, we got a bunch more comments and things coming out. So let me lay it all out for you and let's see what's going on and if these packages will actually be passing this week finally, right? It was supposed to happen last week, but of course we know it got delayed. All right, so late last week, President Biden did meet with the Democratic Caucus, and they were talking about lowering the price tag on this $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill. Now, he told Democrats that they need to lower it to about $2 trillion simply because they don't have widespread support to get all the votes that they need to get it through Congress. Therefore, he told them to lower it to about $2 trillion. In fact, the range that he gave reporters while walking to Capitol Hill was $1.9 to $2.3 trillion. So that's the range that the president is looking at. Well, just yesterday, in a series of different interviews between a bunch of different lawmakers, Pramila Jayapal was actually out in one interview. By the way, she happens to be the leader of the Progressive Party in the House of Representatives. She was out in an interview and said this $1.5 trillion number that Joe Manchin is throwing out, she said, it's not happening. Seriously, it's not happening. Sorry, Joe. Well, here's the thing. Joe Manchin was out and said, I'm not going a penny above $1.5 trillion. Essentially, he went from $0 to $1.5 trillion, and he said that is the line in the sand. We are not going any higher than that. Well, Pramila Jayapal came out and said, we're not going down that low. We don't think it's going to get that. We don't think we're going to be able to get everything done that we want at $1.5 trillion. So she's anticipating that the range that they're looking at is going to be anywhere between 1.5 and $3.5 trillion. So that is a big spread. And when the interviewer asked yesterday in that interview, what's the number? She simply said, we don't really have a number because they don't really know what it's going to come out to be. They still need to go back and renegotiate this whole thing and kind of shave some of the parameters down on this, kind of renegotiate all of the stimulus provisions, everything in there, maybe lower some of the timelines on some of these programs, maybe completely eliminate some of the programs in the package. There's a lot of work ahead of them, right? So yeah, that's what we're looking at as of right now. However, Nancy Pelosi, again, just a couple days ago, came out and said her new timeline on this whole thing is to get everything done by October 31st, which would be the end of the month, obviously. So she has a few more weeks to get that done. In fact, the previous line in the sand was October 1st, and we can see it didn't really happen, right? So again, we'll have to see if this actually holds up this time, the timeline that they have in the sand. But Chuck Schumer was out yesterday. By the way, Chuck Schumer is the leader of the Democratic Party in the Senate. He was out yesterday and said he's backing up Nancy Pelosi with that new deadline of October 31st. So we have Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, obviously in the House of Representatives, and the leader of the Senate, Chuck Schumer, both of these people backing up the end of the month for being the absolute line in the sand for getting both of these packages done. However, there are rumors going around right now that there may actually be some voting on these packages this week. Now, I just want to reiterate, because we've said this many times leading up to last week, Please do not hold your breath on that, and please do not count on this week as being the final week, simply because we've heard this before and we know how this thing usually shakes out. There's a lot of times that they come forward and say, well, we're looking at a final vote this week on whatever, Thursday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever the day happens to be. The day comes and goes and they say, oh, just kidding, we need to delay, right? That's basically what happened a bunch of times last week. In fact, it happened 3 times. They were supposed to vote on Monday, vote on Thursday, and vote on Friday, and all 3 days were delayed, right? So yeah, pretty interesting. But anyway, we'll have to see what happens this week. Literally, like I've been saying for so long now, it's almost an hour-by-hour basis as things are changing very, very rapidly right now, right? Yeah, things are very much moving very quickly right now. All right, so Bernie Sanders, he was also out in an interview yesterday. There was a lot cooking over the weekend and earlier today. As you can see, a lot of people out making statements. But anyway, Bernie Sanders was out and basically said in an interview that the $6 trillion number that he introduced earlier in the summer is what it really should be. And he said $3.5 trillion is the line in the sand and it should not be any lower than that. However, he also does recognize that there's going to be some give and take and that there will be some negotiations on all of these numbers. So, yeah, right? So, unbelievable what is actually going on right now. It's like, seriously, there's so many different people coming out with all of these different numbers. We have Joe Manchin at 1.5. We have Pramila Jayapal at 1.5 to 3.5. We have the president at 1.9 to 2.3. We have Bernie Sanders at 3.5 to 6 trillion. You know what I mean? I mean, we are all over the place right now. Seriously, there's a lot cooking right now. But either way, the fact of the matter is they still think that they are very confident in getting both of these packages completely done and passed sometime here in October. So it is going to be all hands on deck once again in October this entire time, just like it was the second half of September. It's going to be unbelievably busy as Congress will be in session. They'll be here working their way through this thing, and we're going to be getting updates on this thing, I would imagine, probably on a daily basis, pretty much every day through the rest of the month. There's going to be this voting going on, the negotiations, the kind of just all the pretty much everything going on with these packages. Seriously. When it comes to the infrastructure package, nothing else is going on with that. That's already fully passed through the Senate, so no more negotiations on that one. It's pretty much done, just waiting for that final vote in the House. However, when it comes to the reconciliation bill, that is the one where we are still waiting for all of the final information and how they actually decide to negotiate this whole thing out now that they need to shave off about $1.5 trillion, right? Where's it going to come from? What programs are going to be maybe completely eliminated or removed? What programs are going to maybe have a shorter timeline on all of this? You know, a lot cooking right now, seriously. So anyway, don't worry. I'll continue to do all this research for you. No need to do it yourself. That is why I'm here. I do tons of research on this stuff every single day. I bring it to you in these short videos. I boil it all down and do whatever I possibly can to help out in the shortest period of time possible, right? So I know sometimes I talk fast. Sometimes I go through things really quickly. But here's the thing. I like to lay it all out as quickly as possible. I want to be respectful of your time. And in the amount of time that I'm here on these videos, I want to make sure that I'm bringing you honest, accurate, reliable, and transparent information, which I am very dedicated and committed to doing because I cross-reference all of the information that I talk about. And yes, I do actually do the research, and what I'm talking about, for the most part, is 100% accurate. However, there are a few times where I do make mistakes, and I'm the first one to come back and say, hey, sorry, I made a mistake, and here is the actual information. So I've had to do that a couple times. It doesn't happen all that often, but when I do, I have no problem coming back and saying, hey, I messed up. Here's the real answers and here's the real issues. So, if that ever happens, don't worry, I'll be right here, but I do a lot of research on this stuff, and I come back, and I'm very much dedicated to helping you out because I want to make sure that you get all of the money, benefits, and or resources that you're eligible to receive during this time. So again, this channel is the one and only that you need to be watching right now. I'm very much dedicated for you right here, and I want to do whatever I possibly can to help you out through this very confusing time as information continues to change. So thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Subscribe down below and go back and check out some of the other 1,600 videos right here on the channel. Enjoy your day. I'll catch you again later with the latest updates. I'll see ya. Thank you.